Hey there guys, it's Greg, and again it was a long time since our last video. A lot of things happened. There was an Essen spiel, we've been on a vacation, so we didn't have much time to make videos. Now we can go back to our hobby, and in this video we want to share with you our impressions, our review of a game that we actually discovered during Essen spiel. The game is Mortum, and it's a game placed in a medieval world where you as a medieval investigators are trying to figure out what happened to something and something. In the core box we have only 3 scenarios, but they are very long, and more or less 3 hours per scenarios you need to have to finish it, and it's not the end of the story, and let's say that's it. So let us show you what we discovered and what is that Mortum game.
You start the game by picking characters for your team of investigators, each giving you a different amount of tokens representing special actions and resources. Then you read through the first cards of the story, getting your assignment, and here we are, your journey begins. You progress the game through reading the cards, picking up options on them, deciding which location visit and when. So far it sounds like paragraph games, but we have much more here. Many of your activities will take time, which you are going to mark on a tracker showing the passing day. When the night comes, you can try follow some more clues for a while, taking some penalties for pushing your stamina too much, but in the end you need to rest and sleep through the night to start another day and replenish some of your tokens mentioned previously. And what are those tokens? When combat and money are more like classic resources, which could be used when the occasion arises, then search, surveillance and trade works differently. You can decide to put one or more of these tokens on the location, and after 3 hours you take and read special cards assigned to these special actions in this particular location. Imagine questioning people in the local inn about the missing woman. During the talks, you find about some mysterious man meeting with a woman's husband in the woods. Maybe it's worth putting surveillance token on the wood location, or maybe search token on a husband's house to find out what he is hiding. Or maybe the innkeeper sounds suspicious to you and you want to kidnap and interrogate him. Every single location in the game has its search, surveillance and trade outcome, but you have time only for a few such actions per scenario, and trade can be used only once. Are you going to make your decisions based on a hunch? Or are you going to dig deeper and then decide? It's always up to you. Up to this game introduced some new stuff on the way, but let's skip this to not spoil you the fun. Mortum is quite spare in mechanics and components beside the cards, but thanks to this it lets you focus entirely on the story when staying the board game at the same time. And the story is probably the best we have ever encountered in board games. We heard about Mortum for the first time during this year's Essen spiel. We had no idea what to expect, but once we've heard people behind the Folklore are guilty of Mortum, we haven't hesitated even for a second. And we were right. Narration and writing style is so good here. Every dialogue, every description is a pure pleasure to read. The world's creation with its NPCs and situations is engaging from the very first minute till the very end. Surprising revelations and plot twists await behind every corner. Every new clue brings a ton of new questions and engages you even more and more. In the middle of the second scenario, we immersed ourselves in the game so much that we were not only feeling like real medieval investigators, but we had actually cared for the fate of encountered people. Did I mention some of your choices affect the plot too? Although the end of each scenario is already defined, the way you achieve it will vary. I do not recall being wowed so many times by the plot of any game ever. Mortum feels like the best book we have ever read, but stripped of any non-essential descriptions and squeezed on a few hundred cards. I remember all of the moments of frustration. When playing Tate and Grail, we were pursuing some threat, wasting time and resources only to find out we do not have some things or some other stuff required to complete the quest. And there wasn't even the tiniest hint it will be needed in this particular thread. So in the end, we couldn't do anything more than come back here again in the future, repeating every single step of the thread, wasting again the same resources. Game punished us for exploring the world in other turn order than designed. So we finally stopped doing this. Mortum is in total opposition to this. Every single action and card is giving you some answers, helping you with the investigations. If you will not connect facts and hints to good, you can end going to places and asking people, leading you to the answers you already had, but it's always logical. Each scenario ends with questions, and based on the answers you pick below each question, you will determine your score. And even if you discovered a lot of hints during the session, some questions still will be very tricky and will raise a huge discussion among the players, trying to find more connection between facts discovered and trying to remember things initially missed. Some answers should be deducted based on the less directly connected facts, and some answers are written deliberately to confuse you and raise more doubts in your mind and between players. The game has no rulebook at all. The core book consists of 3 scenarios, the first one over 1 hour long, introducing you to the mechanics and giving the foundations for the whole story of the campaign, and 2 much bigger scenarios, each lasting over 3 to 4 hours. You open the box with the first scenario and you simply start playing. All game's mechanics and rules are explained on the way without taking you out of experiencing the session. That's all we can say without spoilers, and trust us, there is more. Mortum is an incredible board game experience, and it raised the bar so high that many story-driven games barely see this bar from below. We were discussing a lot about the final score, but here it is. Mortum gets from us not only Mark of the Beast, but also it's the first board game on our channel getting the highest possible score of 10 scratches. The only thing the game needs is more buzz around it, and meanwhile we can't wait for the new expansion to continue the story from the core box. That's all for today. See you at the next game.